high stakes in Ukraine, the threat of nuclear war, and the interests of humanity. 4 basic points. Number 1, the threat of nuclear war, of World War III, is real and it is growing more likely by the day. Last week at revcom.us we wrote that, quote, the war in Ukraine has escalated to a perilous new phase. The danger of nuclear exchange is greater and more explicitly stated than ever by political leaders on both sides of the war, Russia on the one side and on the other Ukraine, backed by the US and NATO. In just the past week, this conflict has gotten significantly more dangerous. There are mounting threats, including threatening the use of nuclear weapons, ground offensives, and accelerating military maneuvers on both sides. We urge everyone to go to revcom.us and read the resources and analysis provided there. Number 2, this is an imperialist showdown. This is not a fight between good guys versus bad guys. Ukraine is not a battleground between democracy and autocracy. It is a conflict zone of imperialist rivalry between Russian imperialism and US and Western imperialism. Both are fighting to impose their will on the other, to advance the interests of their empire at the expense of the other, and at the cost of tens of thousands of lives lost, with the looming threat of crushing and incinerating millions more. For more analysis and history of this situation, including several articles by Bob Avakian, again, go to revcom.us and the Special War on Ukraine resource page. Number 3, the Democratic Party is a machine of massive war crimes and crimes against humanity. The Democrats are not the party of peace. Their entire record is one of bloody war crimes and crimes against humanity. They have demonstrated over and over again that they have no hesitation at all when it comes to killing millions of people in the interests of the US empire. The Democrats are the party of nuclear bombs dropped on densely populated cities, the party of napalm, jellied gasoline that burns to the bone, dropped on children. They are the party of drone strikes on wedding parties. And now, under Democratic Party leadership, this country is bringing the world to the brink of nuclear war. It is way past time for people to stop being a tail on this Democratic donkey. Number 4, this whole dynamic must be urgently, radically changed in the interests of humanity, not in the interests of rival and contending imperialists. People can't stand by passively and hope for the best. They need to be challenged and to think deeply about the truth of these words by Bob Avakian. He said, all this emphasizes why it is vitally important for the masses of people in this country and other countries aligned with it, as well as in Russia, for people everywhere to finally and fully wake up now, recognize the real and profoundly heavy stakes involved, and act in accordance with our actual interests, the interests of all of humanity, demanding that this war in Ukraine and the involvement, direct and indirect, of the imperialists on both sides in this war be stopped before it not only causes even greater suffering for the people of Ukraine, but possibly escalates into a far more terrible conflict, which causes massive destruction and death on a whole other level, and even possibly poses a threat to the very existence of humanity itself. We urge every one of you watching right now to spread far and wide these slogans everywhere you can. No US-NATO war with Russia. No World War III. It's this system, not humanity, that needs to become extinct. We don't accept their future. It's time to get organized for a real revolution.